time, and Nuru hasn't needed to disengage during a battle.
Feels good. Feels good.
Well, we are back from our break now, so you guys have 5 dire wolves dead before you, and you have 3 children from Barovia in tow. What would you like to do? You're actually, let me get back on. So we're back on the map here. Where the heck? Oh, there we go.
I'm assuming to finish heading to Vallaki, and just to casually. This and everything's all sorted out. Naru's going to tell the kids the story of how he and Veen got married.
Nice. Let me get this.
As you do that, I impale the 2 wolf heads on my 2 javelins and put them on my back. So I have 2 wolf head javelins sticking out my back.
As you're saying this story, Veen is just carving up these wolves.
I don't need to carve. I chopped the heads off already.
Yeah, like the carve of the body itself, there's still meat and whatever. I would like to. How many of these direwolf bodies, minus heads, can the horse with children drag back? 1, 2,
1,
5, 1. We'd like to drag one of the bodies back. The heads.
It's like a riding. It's like a riding horse, It's like a pony.
It's not a pack mule.
I would like to field dress the direwolf. Then I cut it from the bottom of its rib cage down to its genitals. Remove the liver, the intestines, the organs. So just the meat to loosen at least about 40% of the weight.
Make a survival check.
Nice Nose actually going to join them in on this.
Meanwhile,
I have a +8 to survival, and I roll awful. Look at that.
That's okay. You don't do a great job, but you get a lot of the guts out of a couple of the wolves, and the horse can drag back 2 bodies now.
Hey, more meat. Yeah. I also want to take some of the teeth out, and I want to give some of the teeth to Niles. I want to tell him, Niles, you did very bravely, but remember, we have to do most of the work. Tyr only comes in on the backside. I'll hand him some teeth.
So you give Niles a couple wolf teeth. There's a few scattered teeth around from being knocked out through the combat. So, you don't even have to chop them out. You can just lean over and pick up a wolf tooth, You hand Niles a big wolf canine, and he, takes it from you, and he looks at it, and he kind of looks you up and down. Do you have any holy symbols or anything on your person? Do you have any?
Well, yeah, my plate armor is actually emblazoned with the scales and hammer of Tyr. I also have a chain with just the hammer around my neck.
Niles puts it in his pocket knife pocket, and he says, "This is sharper than my knife," and he kind of tucks it away. And you definitely javelin a few wolf heads, Veen, and you guys make you continue to make your way to Vallaki, and eventually the old. What's up, Nuru?
No, I just want to I really want to get the children's reaction, because Nuru, because he's gonna say. And then, lo and behold, Veen carried me across the threshold of his home.
Right, yeah.
They know the tradition.
Yeah.
Wait, this bear just consummated everything? Did you guys roleplay the consummation?
Yeah. Well, it came
beautiful.
It was happenstance. So what happened was they'd had these pastries for a while, and Ismark didn't know that they were bad, and they did some insight checks also, and nobody knew that they were bad. So Nuru finally ate one and failed.
Nuru does not tell that part of the story.
Failed the saving throw. Right, failed the saving throw. So Veen, Rivik's actually started as a bard, and the bard died to Strahd. So that's why Veen got he's now a Barovian native barbarian from these lands, and
I like barbarians, frankly.
And
get along with them well.
Nuru's eyes glazed over, and Nuru had this very elaborate dream of being back in his homeland, being the king of Kalimport, where Nuru is from, and just stopped moving and was swaying, on his 2 feet. And so Veen scooped him up as they were making their way towards Veen's house to rest for the night before they all made their way to Vallaki, and carried Nuru over the threshold of his home. And somebody offhandedly commented, now they're married, and I said, well, that's the tradition in Barovia. That's all it takes. If you carry somebody across the threshold of your home, then that means that you're married. And what Myrtle says actually is, I think that's how my parents got married too.
So the only change to that story
That's beautiful.
he's going to make is, instead of like eating a pastry, he's just going to say, like, we met Strahd and we had to fight some vampires, and I passed out because of my wounds. That's what he's going to say.
Okay.
Roll deception.
Niles looks confused. Myrtle is like, I know what's going on here, like, and Freak. At the end of your story, though, Nuru, Freak actually reacts and he goes, Freak.
Nuru feels oddly touched by that.
I also have to ask at this point, does anyone here know Freak from, like, League of Legends?
I have not
I'm
played.
imagining that face on a child.
I used to play League pretty hard, and I have not played in maybe a year and a half or 2 years now.
He's a commentator with, like, really big mutton chops.
Gotcha.
That
the
face on
commentator
the child.
Freak, yeah.
Hashtag League of Barovia.
Yeah.
I don't know. MOBAs are kind of beneath me.
It's honestly, it's like kind of similar. It's kind of similar to that. It really is.
Send him all the hate posts for saying that.
Well,
Just
I play Rainbow
Four
Six.
puns.
That's what I play. You guys play Siege? Play with me.
I do think that they have ruined League of Legends in the attempt to make it more accessible, just like they ruined World of Warcraft in the attempt to make it more accessible.
They did the EverQuest
Dumbed
15
it
years
down.
ago. So
Rich, something you might not know about me is that my second experience when I was 15 years old after Ultima Online was EverQuest Online. And they've been recently releasing progression servers on EverQuest Live, and I'm currently playing a 5-box party of characters in EverQuest currently.
Dude, that's awesome. What server were you on originally?
Terrace Thol.
I was on Luklin.
Terrace. So Lucelyn came out.
Cleric,
obviously,
believe it or not.
Lucelyn wasn't a server until that expansion came out. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a new one. That's why I went on it.
I was playing on Terrace Thol, which was one of the original releases, and then after I played on that for a while, I started playing on Ralos Zek, and I never looked back. But now you can't loot items or gold from anybody anymore on a PvP server, so.
Yeah.
Speaking of quests.
Yeah, Naru's going to ask, Veen, or Veen and not Veen, how far away they are from Vallaki.
I would
answer.
Well, I was about to go. As when you're coming to the end of your story, Nuru, the old Valich Road meanders down into the valley, watched over by dark, brooding mountains to the north of you and to the south. The woods recede, revealing a sullen mountain berg surrounded by a wooden palisade. Thick fog presses up against the walls, as though it's looking for a way inside. Almost as if it wants to catch the town aslumber. The dirt road ends at a set of sturdy iron gates that you recognize, Rimpak, and you see a pair of shadowy figures standing behind them. Planted in the ground and flanking the road outside of the gates are a half-dozen pikes with wolf heads impaled upon them. and you reach the gates, the eastern gates of Vallaki. So I'll go over a little bit of Vallaki stuff that I would do anyways eventually, that maybe it's something Rimpak told you guys while he was here, or maybe something that you might learn anyways, but
Well,
On
we
the way
established
around,
earlier
I
that
will
Veen has been here before.
inform the party about Vallaki. Like,
yeah,
guys,
Veen,
this
Veen,
is what I
Veen,
know. I
Veen
based
has
it in.
Veen has been here as well, and probably why he took the wolf heads. You know, it's wolves and direwolves prowl the woods constantly around Vallaki. They are not afraid to attack travelers, and well-armed groups of hunters and trappers always go out wolf hunting from Vallaki on a daily basis. Vallaki, Rimpak might tell you that Vallaki, while he was there, they're preparing for a new festival called the Festival of the Blazing Sun. People of the town are bringing twigs and sticks into Vallaki from the surrounding woods when they go on wolf hunts, and bringing them to the burgomaster's mansion, and they're building a big wicker sun that they are going to burn in 3 days.
The bees. Nice. No, it's basically Burning Man. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Nice Snow knows exactly what this is about.
Nuru looks almost amazed to see so much activity, because he hasn't been in this land for long, but for as long as it's just such a difference compared to Barovia.
It is very different compared to Barovia. There are these tall walls, and you can see guards patrolling the inside of the walls, and there are 2 guards at the gate. The north gate is sometimes called the Zarevich Gate. This is another thing Rimpak would be able to tell you, and probably Veen as well. The north gate is sometimes called the Zarevich Gate, or the Gate to the Lake, because it leads to Lake Zarevich. The west gate is referred to as the Sunset Gate, even though no living person in Vallaki has seen an undimmed sunset. A few abandoned cottages line the road outside of the west gate. And the east gate is known as the Morning Gate, or aka the Morning Lord, or some other locals in the town like to call it the Morning Gate, or somebody who's buried in the ground. And a common phrase among the townspeople that you've heard, Rimpak, is "all will be well." It's a joking phrase that some of the common folk of the town say, but it is a serious phrase that the burgomaster of Vallaki says, and anyone using it inappropriately will find themselves in the stocks or worse. You know, Rimpak, that there is a you know Rimpak, that there's a man named Izek Strasny in Vallaki that is the burgomaster's right-hand man. He enforces the laws of the town, and he's a terrifying figure. You probably briefly spotted him once. He's kind of a tall, imposing figure with a bald shaven head. He wears a big black wolf cloak, and something very strange about him is that his right arm is deformed. It is massive and pulsing with thick veins. It is red, and it has spikes that run down the length of it. And he imposes the burgomaster's will upon the town. He's very cruel, and you didn't really have any encounters with him, but he's definitely a presence within Vallaki.
I did not even get close to spelling his name correctly in my
Do we see him, or is this just knowledge that he has?
This is knowledge that Rimpak has, so you guys don't see him, but this is a person that Rimpak tells you about on the way. He also tells you a little bit about the Baron of Vallaki from what he's heard from the people who run the Blue Water Inn. The Burgomaster, Baron Vargas Valakovich, has been decreeing for some time that all will be well, and if we only spread good and joy in Vallaki, that that will defeat Strahd alone. And so he holds new festivals every week in hopes of pushing back Strahd and bringing happiness to the town of Vallaki.
On the way towards town, I want to inform the party that the inn that we're heading to, the Blue Water Inn, I don't know if Martikov, the Martikov family, they're not really like the rest of Vallaki. I trust them. I feel that they're good people, but I want to inform them that they do not necessarily take part in these activities. I want to know that they're a little bit more serious folk. They are people of few words, and that's where I think we should head immediately upon entering Vallaki. I just want to get my feelings that that's where I came from. That's where I met the fortune teller. And then that's where I was informed where you guys were. And yeah.
I'm also going to try and grab Rimpak off to the side a little bit just before we enter the town, if that's all right.
Sure.
Cool.
I'm just going to whisper to you. You seem like a decent person.
Thank you.
I would watch who you spread your religion to, as some would consider you a heathen to speak a different god's name.
Let me ask a question here, Rimpak. How fervent in your days in Vallaki before the Martikovs informed you of these band of adventurers being drawn into Strahd's realm? How fervent in your faith would you have been in the town?
Very.
Okay.
Yep, I know.
No, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. It just I didn't
Very.
consider that before. I didn't consider that before this session.
But I just give you the heads up that some would consider you a heathen.
I'll take.
What should you talk to?
I'll be like, thank you, Veen. I appreciate that. But justice and what is right is a universal faith.
I also say you don't need to thank me. You need to thank Jacob. And I just walk off at that point.
So as you approach the
We need to
gates,
thank who?
Jacob.
I have no idea. But I meet him, I'll thank him.
You're meant to not have any idea. So don't be lost.
so as you approach the gates, actually, one of the two guards, there's a male and female guard at the gates of Vallaki, and one of them actually recognizes you, Veen, and he says, "Well, haven't seen you or your brothers in some time. What brings you out this far?"
I just pointed Ismark. Like, there's a reason I'm out this far.
He looks at the wolf heads sticking off your back, and then he looks past you towards Ismark and Arena and the children, and the woman says, "Don't be a dick, let them in. Except that one. We can't let him again." And she looks right at Rimpak. "Burgomaster's orders." And the man shrugs and he says, "Veen, you're welcome to come in with your friends, but you've got to leave that one outside."
Why? What did he do? As I look at him softly.
He's been muttering words of some strange god, and that's not the Burgomaster's will. He's blasphemy, saying. He's drawing too much attention to us. Strahd should show up any day now if we let him back in.
I just shake my head at Rimpak.
All right, I want to be like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna pull Niles to me and like, Niles, do not speak Tyr's name here. He is not welcome. But remember, truth, justice, and the Tyrian way is what matters.
And the other stuff.
All right, and I'm also gonna take 30 gold. And as I'm like walking away, like kind of like, you know, going away from the group, I'm gonna hold up. I'm gonna look at Nice No. I'm like, Nice No. I'm gonna give him 30 gold. I'm gonna say, buy me another Morning Star or a mace, whatever they got in there, some metal, heavy and blunt.
She just stares at you, but you get the idea that she's heard you.
I'm like, all right. Then I'm cool. All right.
So the appropriate thing to do with your wolf heads, Veen, would be to jam them onto a empty pike sticking out of the front of the gates of Vallaki. Yeah, you're gonna keep them.
Yeah. Unless someone physically stops me, they're staying on my back.
The male guard says.
Until they rot.
The male guard says, "You know the price to enter, Veen."
Okay, so a little bit of DM knowledge here. What do I know the price to be?
A wolf head on a pike.
Per person? Because that will take a while.
No, just the ones you have. The guard was assuming that you brought them for that reason.
I throw them at his feet. I don't hand them to him.
Okay, sure.
I'm leaning on my quarterstaff, watching this happen with a bit of a half smirk on my face.
Also, can I attempt when I throw them down to intentionally break the pikes?
They're big, thick, massive pieces of wood.
They're javelins. They're not that big and thick.
Well, the
ones that I piked.
Oh, on the wolf heads?
My ones. My ones,
yeah,
not
yeah.
their ones.
No, you can break your own javelins easily. That's fine. Yeah.
Alright, I do that.
Yeah. The wolf heads topple the ground at the feet of the guards. They open the metal gates and move to either side of them and allow all of you to pass, except for Rimpak.
No.
Also, with that magnificent news, I've finally broken all my other weapons.
Boom.
And the woman, as they're closing the gates, the woman looks through the metal bars and she says, "I don't know who this Tyr is that you've been talking about, but we're just following orders. It's nothing personal."
No offense taken. I understand. I am also a man of orders. I follow what I am told. And the party knows to go to the. I would made it clear to the Blue Water Inn where I wanted to bring Niles. I made that clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hopefully.
You did for sure, absolutely, yeah.
All right, then to tell them. Hopefully, I told them like as they're leaving, like tell them Rimpak sends Niles and these children that they will, hopefully find solace and work there. I mean, they can they clean up, they can make beds, I suppose.
I also asked you, where do we return the souls?
The Blue Water Inn, Markov family. Tell them Rimpak sent you. I'm not allowed in. They don't like truth, justice, and the Tyrian way here.
So, as you see the rest of the party make their way through the gates with the horse and the children, Rimpak, and the guards close the iron bars of the east gate of Vallaki in your face as they disappear around the corner deeper into the city, into the smoky streets of Vallaki, what do you do?
So the gates are closed in front of me? Mm-hmm. And the guards walked away?
They turn their backs to you.
I can't break rules. I'm gonna Jeez, what can I do? I'm kind
Do
of
you have a
bound.
bedroll?
What's that, Nuru?
Do you have a bedroll?
I do.
Or-
I
Yeah,
do carry a
yeah.
bedroll. I guess
You,
I'm gonna make.
So actually, Rimpak, before you say what you do,
Mhm.
a few posts down along the wall,
Mhm.
you see a pair of ravens kind of perched, watching this exchange of the party entering, and
I know what that means.
they see the rest of the party come in. The rest of you guys don't notice this, but you do, Rimpak. You notice these two ravens, like they're, whatever's happening between these two birds is intentional. They're looking down at the guards, telling that you guys can come in and you have to stay out. As the party goes deeper into the town, the birds' heads like slowly turn and watch them disappear, and then both of their two birds' heads turn back towards you very deliberately and are just staring at you.
I wouldn't notice these ravens, especially considering how much I noticed them earlier. I will approach, follow the raven's gaze as I move.
Oh, well, just tell me what you do after that. Like, you see them watching you, but then what do you do?
All right, so the ravens watch as the
They're
guards that are
perching,
standing.
so there's just like a spiked wooden wall that's encompassing Vallaki, and they're kind of sitting there on top, and you know, like, birds are typically uninterested in, like, they're always looking around and it's whatever's there. These birds are very deliberately, like, you notice that their heads like turn and are watching, like, intelligently what's going on. And
I like to walk towards the wall, towards the birds.
okay.
I'm gonna be looking up at them, seeing if they follow my gaze.
They do. Their heads move down as you approach them.
I like to walk right up to the wall where they are perched.
The wall's like
Like to
12 feet high.
I like to check the wall around where I approach.
It's a solid wooden wall.
Look back at the raven.
And it's
like,
5 feet from the gates. The metal gates.
Okay.
They're just watching.
What?
But you notice this weird behavior back when you were back at the Blue Water Inn. Like, the ravens seemed intentional. They didn't seem like birds. Like, there was something off about them, you know?
Yeah. Like they're like security cameras in a way.
Almost, yeah, almost.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna look at him and I'm like, all right, I recognize you. I'm actually just gonna be like, I'm gonna put my back up against the wall. And I'm gonna sit down.
Make a stealth check, Veen. So you're just gonna sit down in front of the wall?
Yeah, with my back against the wall, I'm just gonna sit down. Just kind of like, all right.
One of the ravens flies down off of the wall, lands on your shoulder, pecks your face.
I'm like, kind of like, hey.
And then it flies off away into the woods out of sight of the gate. And the other one follows it.
I'm gonna follow those ravens.
Okay. Nuru, what's your passive perception?
16.
You notice Veen dart off between two buildings and attempting to sneak away from the party.
I am going to sprint so Nuru can't catch
Nuru, he hasn't, like, their marriage might be short so far, and he may have only known Veen for a few days, but he trusts that this is what he's doing.
Okay.
I dash to 80 feet every 6 seconds.
You must give her a child. That's how you really consummate a marriage.
Yes, but
I need a
Nuru is
pregnant
him.
partner here.
Yeah, Naru's a him.
Yeah, Nuru is.
Yeah, well, Veen's a lady, right?
No, Veen's
No.
a him.
No.
Veen's a him as well.
Sex. Well, adopt Niles. Come on.
I know, right?
Of all the children to adopt, why would it be Niles?
I think they're gonna adopt.
Because he's
I think
the
they're gonna
best.
adopt Myrtle. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Nuru
And Niles.
Okay, with Freak.
Adopt
He knows how shit this world is.
So we'll do Veen first. So Veen, I mean, you have been to Vallaki a few times, so you know there are places that you can go to buy things.
Yes.
Is this where I'm heading to the woods real quick? This way?
I
Following the ravens?
So I would disagree that what your whisper to me says is a waste. But you
It's
can
kind
get,
of some of it is like pointless shit. Not
well,
necessarily a waste.
you get
but
all of
pointless.
it. And you can describe what the bands look like. But you
Alright,
get the other stuff too.
I'll leave that till future stuff.
Okay.
Yep, I do all of it. Yeah.
You get it. You get it all. Yeah.
I'm
Can I
going
say
to go
it's-
to the bathroom real quick. Sorry.
The second thing I mentioned, can I say it's a large one?
A large one. What?
The T one that starts with T.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Cool.
So you follow these birds off into the woods, Rimpak.
Right.
And so you go kind of off the path outside. Both of them, in a burst of feathers, change into two naked human males.
Perfect. Just what I wanted. No, all right. I'm very surprised as this happens. I'm like,
They both
I'm
look
shocked.
very. They look like they're probably brothers. They both are of the same build, but they're muscular. They're both probably about 5'10" feet tall. They both have this very dark ebony kind of. Even after like popping out from bird form into human form, like their hair is kind of neat. It looks like it has like gel in it almost. They both.
do I
have this
recognize family resemblance from the owners of the Blue Water Inn?
No.
Okay, checking.
I officially dubbed them the Slickback Twins.
But one of them says, "You fucking idiot."
What?
And as I'm like raised up, and they say that, I'm like, oh, what? Why? What is happening?
I know that you're not from here, but God's damn, man, like, you can't just go walking around town spreading this lore of some fucking imaginary god.
And I go, watch yourself, Crow Man.
Who the fuck calls God a tear anyways? Who wants a crying God?
There's
It's
only
a
the
name
morning.
god.
There's only the Morning Lord and Lady Night here in fucking Barovia, and you're gonna draw Strahd back down to Vallaki and with a vengeance if you keep your fucking nonsense up.
It's not nonsense, Crow Man. The Lord of Tyr, the main god, is real. I feel his presence even now.
There's been
I think this one's still whacked in the head.
There's been plenty of fucking madmen that have come here before, and they've all ended up dead. I think you're finding yourself on a quick path to fucking having two X's across your eyes.
If that's the path Tyr chose for me, I will walk it gladly.
Well, then
Hey,
that's
he's a suicider.
That's a pretty shite god, if you ask me. I think you should stop talking about it, especially in our town. They both pop into bird form again. Before the second one does, who hasn't been talking, he goes, "Head back to the west gate. We'll let you in." And he turns into a bird, and they both fly away.
I'm a little more incensed, but also very deliberately like, okay, I understand this. Different strokes for different folks. This is a different culture from what I'm from. Maybe spreading the word might not be. I'm gonna be a little more subversive from now on. I'm just gonna get sneakier about it. Okay.
Sounds like this is the type of stroke that Rimpak likes.
Welcome to the roast Rimpak episode. Hey, I asked the man a question. I said, how much did you try and spread your faith? He could have told me not at all, and that would have never happened.
It's a lot.
But he stuck to his character, and I fucking love that shit. I love you motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
I love you. I love all 4 of you motherfuckers. It's amazing. This game is so great.
I'm gonna head to the West Gate. And
so do you go?
I'm
Do you go south? Do you go south and around, or you go north and around?
Oh, I guess. Where is my position on the map then? Would it be right? Let me ping. Here?
I would say kind of down in here, down around in these woods here.
Okay, that's exactly. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna go north and around. Well, shit, those same people just saw me. Let me go.
Quick, pull out your disguise kit.
This is the gate. This is the gate I just tried at, right?
Yes, the east gate, the morning gate.
Well, they said to me in the west gate.
They told you to go to the west gate and they'll let you in.
All right, I'm gonna go to the west gate then.
I'm
gonna go south, and then I'm just gonna follow this road here.
So now I'm gonna do a P. So if everyone has to do a P, just do a P.
Thank God, I totally need to do a P.
I think people have been pissing all over Rimpak this episode.
Hey, have you guys heard about Lord Tyr, by the way, real quick? Just check it. Before I go P, because, truth, justice, and the Tyrian way, all I'm saying.
Where's the god of wine and tits? Where's the god?
Hey, as soon as okay with wine.
As soon as I heard the Tyrian way, I just thought Tyrion Lannister way, and then the thought in my mind came, okay, so there's God Tyr. Where is the god of wine and tits? And then I remembered it's Dionysus.
It is Dionysus, Bacchus, yes.
Yeah,
Greek and Roman. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Either or.
Tyrion wishes he was in our universe.
I feel so good after taking that. Oh god, we're still recording.
Yes, we are. Welcome to being unprepared. Rated PG-13.
Oh my god, I want to die.
God of wine and tits, rated PG-13.
Hey, Ryan, are you recording still?
Yeah.
Oh, fun. to listen back on.
Most of the time we did have one episode where we had like 6 or 7 viewers at one point, but I don't expect anybody to be like watching us on Thursday night during fucking Critical Role, so. Oh
no, by all means. We are like a binge on the side sort of episode, like a podcast.
And I think I am going to. I'm learning a lot about being a part of that Tuesday game about YouTube uploads and streaming and other stuff, and a lot of the reason why like I like streaming and I like uploading to YouTube and stuff, but one of the major reasons why I don't go that next step is because I still have like a fucking full-time job that I work 60 hours a week, and I have a girlfriend, and I have like life to attend to as well. So I it's not that I don't have the time to like make a perfect stream overlay and edit episodes down and make it more professional. It's just that I don't want to do that time. I just want to sit down and have fun. So the having you guys just being willing to be on the the Roll20 chat and stuff like that, and like if we got to get up and do stuff, that's fine. Like I kind of like that style of game and play, and just shutting down the stream because I got to get up for 2 minutes is like,
yeah.
and I don't think there's anything that anyone's ever gonna say that's like I gotta ban you from the game, so it's like.
Oh, no. I didn't say
Just
something.
give me
I just said
time.
something incredibly embarrassing for myself.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. I will say some things to ban me from the eventually.
Give it time.
I don't know if I want to say what I said or if I just want to let you discover it in your own.
Nah, let him.
I'll hear it later. And so will everyone else when I rebroadcast tomorrow night. Because I think that's what I will start doing. I think I'll upload to YouTube. I've learned that the algorithm for YouTube is like the more you upload, the more that you get YouTube priority.
Why do you think PewDiePie is so successful?
So I'm not going to split the videos into like 30-minute segments, but like I'm gonna upload like part 1 because I stop recording at the break. I keep the stream on, but I stop recording. So I'm gonna like on Friday upload part 1, on Saturday upload part 2. Friday night I'll stream part 1. Saturday night I'll stream part 2, and kind of start to space it out a little more. But other than that, it's like the DM for my Tuesday night game, like, man, he's got a big team that's helping him out, and they're not getting paid, and he is really good. He's got an awesome overlay, and he's good at editing video and stuff like that, and that's stuff that I'm gonna have to learn. I know I'm gonna have to learn it now if I'm gonna keep doing this, but I'll link after this. I'll link the section of my video interview of how I got into that game, and then I'll link our character creation, and you can see how intense it was. It was like 3.5 hours. The first interview I had was 4 hours. The second callback that they had that I missed was 5.5 hours. The only reason that I got a second chance was because the DM liked me a lot, and I just fucking steamrolled, everyone else in my personal chat, and then I went on vacation, and I had some stuff going on with my family and some other things, and I wasn't checking my social media and stuff, and so I missed the messages for the invite back to the callback. But the second round of interviews was like 10 players, and they all had to compete 5.5 hours. They all had to do a 10-minute spotlight. They had to just talk about the topics that were being presented to them. So I missed that whole thing. And the only reason I'm now in that Tuesday game is because in my first interview, the DM and I connected so much that he chose the other players and then gave them a choice between the top performing player from that 5.5 hour call and me, who he liked. And I ended up beating him because I was just a better fit for the player. He let the players choose. Do you want this guy or this guy? And they chose me because I was just, the other guy was a little more mechanical and I'm a little more emotional, I think. And that's, so if you go watch the interview, and then if you go watch the character creation, and then if you go watch the Dropbox episode that I posted in the Discord, if you download it and watch the end of that episode, the roleplay is like awesome, and that whole party is awesome. And one of the other players in that game who was chosen has had his art featured on Critical Role like 5 times.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, I really hate to cut this short, but can we get back to games?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Just talking
So back to talking shit about Rimpak. Let's go for it.
That was all. That should have been all after session stuff. But I'm 7.
Religion stuff,
I'm 7.
right?
I'm 7 beers deep now. Rimpak, where you at?
You don't want it. It's embarrassing for me. And everybody who loves me.
Tyr is guiding you to the West Gate.
Tyr guides me because I definitely couldn't guide myself. Have to make wisdom checks every 10 feet.
So, I guess to cut back to the game and cut it short, Rimpak, you make your way along the wall, the southern wall of Vallaki, and along the way, it's like the mists here are. You guys who make your way into the town, it's totally clear. The streets are clear. There's light spilling out from the homes. There's people walking around the town. You actually spot off in one clearing. There's a big wicker sun being woven by people. And Rimpak on the outside of the town, the mist is so thick here that you cannot even see 5 feet in front of your face. It's just pressing in on the walls of Vallaki. And you have to almost run your hand along the wall to just keep next to it and not get lost. You look up and you can see that it's clear beyond this wall of mist, because there's times where you look up and you see a human guard looking down at you on the wall. It seems like in the inside of the wall there's kind of a platform that the guards can patrol around the inside of the city around the wall. And you make your way along to the west end of the town, and on either side of the gates there are 2 ravens perched. And when you get to that side, the ravens look down at you and nod. And one of the guards, there's 2 there, one of them opens the gate. They both nod at you and let you pass through.
Okay. After I enter,
when you move past them, one of them puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "Mind your manners. Best that you make your way straight to the Blue Water Inn."
I give him a nod, I understand that now. This place is like Poland. I'm gonna head directly to the Blue Water Inn.
So where on the map is the Blue Water Inn? Just for our sake of knowing?
Sorry, everybody.
It's
but
so the Blue Water Inn is almost in the center of town, right here.
Tyrion's Lord, by the way.
So the Rude Nice Snow, the kids, Ismark, and Irina would have gotten there before the others.
Yes, and you guys make your way through the main road of town. Some of the things you see on the way, the very first, very noticeable thing that you see is on your left-hand side as you're making your way down the main road is a large stockyard that has several locked sheds around its periphery. So that's kind of like here on the left side of your travel token. There's a big roomy warehouse and a wooden sign above the front gates that reads the Arisek Stockyard. And parked at the south end of the stockyard, there's like a sturdy carnival wagon. Almost looks like a Vistani wagon. It's colorfully painted, but the paint's kind of peeling off and faded. There's lettering on the side that spells out Rictavio's Carnival of Wonders. And Nuru, you notice a heavy padlock secures the back door of this wagon. If you don't stop to marvel, then you keep making your way down the road. You see another building. There's an uninviting looking shop. It looks like it's 2 stories tall. Has a sign shaped like a coffin above the front door. All of the window shutters are closed up tight, and a deathly silence surrounds this establishment. And that's kind of off of the road, right around here. And as you continue to travel around down the main boulevard through Vallaki, you come across the well, you don't come across, but as you kind of make your way almost near the center of town, there are shops and homes that enclose this part of the town, and you see a lot of decorated houses with limp, tattered garlands and painted wooden boxes filled with little dead flowers. And
potpourri.
Just through the kind of alleys and streets, Nuru, you make out kind of a little stockade, and briefly, as you're passing between buildings, you see men, women, and children locked up in, with their heads and arms kind of put between wooden planks and locked up, like bent over, hunched over. and it looks like there's kind of a town square down in that direction. And you keep moving and going, and you eventually make your way to the Blue Water Inn. You can see gray smoke issuing from the chimney of this large 2-story wooden building. It has kind of a stone foundation and a sagging tile roof. There are several ravens perched upon all sides of the inn, and there's a painted wooden sign hanging above the main entrance, and it's kind of like a blue waterfall.
Is there like a how in those old Western movies they would have like the bars or like that bar, like the vertical bar, no, horizontal bar, like hanging outside of taverns and stuff, like to tie horses' reins to?
Yes, yep. And there's actually one other horse, the same size as the pony that the kids are riding on, tied up. And as you approach with Lilac, and kind of rein the horse in to the outside of the inn, the other horse nuzzles Lilac down its flank.
Yeah, Nuru will give Lilac a pat and tell him that he's a good boy. And he will help the children down.
Mm-hmm. You help Niles and Freak and Myrtle down off of Lilac, and you're standing out in front of the Blue Water Inn. You see there's a... Oh, wait. I have a map for this. It's like super deep, though. Let me see. There we go. This is all black, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Veen, I can't hear you.
Oh, there it is.
I'll put you down here just so you can kind of see Rimpak, but you know.
Yeah. I'm not here, right? I'm elsewhere.
Yeah, so on the outside of the inn, there's a stone well, kind of got a thick layer of moss growing around the outside of it, and you can see a wooden staircase hugging the outer wall of the inn that leads up to the second level. Of wooden doors on this side where you're pulling up with the horse, and you tie it off next to Lilac's sister or brother, sorry, and you bring all the children down. And what do you do?
Naru's just like they're because the goal is to go right towards the what was the family's name again? Marvok? Naturally.
We are on the outside, so you just walk straight through the doors with the kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just trying to remember the name of the family.
Yeah, the Mardikovs. So you step into the Blue Water Inn, and you see on the inside of the door there are damp cloaks that are hanging from pegs in the entrance's portico. This tavern is packed with tables and chairs, and there's a narrow path meandering between them. There's a long bar that stretches from one wall to the other, and it's kind of under a balcony that can be reached by a wooden staircase that hugs the either side, or the north wall of the inn. And all the windows are fitted with thick shutters and crossbars, metal crossbars. There are lanterns hanging above the bar and resting on the tables as well, that kind of bathe the room in a dull orange light and cast shadows upon the walls as well. most of the walls are adorned with wolf heads mounted on wooden plaques. And you see some common-looking folk. You see a pair of what look like maybe brothers, men draped in leathers and wolf-hide cloaks. They both have these thick, bushily mustaches and tousled brown hair. One of them has a bow draped over their back, and you notice right away that down the wooden part of his bow there are like notches that line down the front, and looks like there's maybe 25 or 30. And him and his brother have a couple of bottles of wine on the table and a couple of wine glasses in front of them as well. And as you walk in, one of the brothers picks up a bottle and fills his brother's empty glass and then fills his own as well. And then there's several other commoners sitting around the room, and a woman you see behind the bar. Her eyes kind of perk up, and she smiles very warmly.
Yeah, Nuru heads right for her.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a balcony above the bar, and you see two boys standing between the bars, and their heads are just below the rail, and they're kind of looking down as you guys enter, and they kind of bounce on their heels excitedly, seeing strangers. And you hear Danica, the woman attending the bar, shout, "Mardakov, we have newcomers." "But we were expecting them, weren't we?" And you hear a man's voice from the kitchens say, "Boys, get down here and help me cook some food for our new guests." And the boys rush down the side of the stairs, and you lay your eyes upon the Mardakov family, which I definitely have a handout for. There we go. They are all kind of, even the boys are, they have this dark black hair, and they're all of their hair is kind of streaked in white, and Danica, the wife, has feathers sticking out on every end. They're kind of wearing this very regal-looking attire of soft purples and teal, and they have very plump, ruddy cheeks and warm smiles, and they all seem very excited to see new people in the town. And Danica, the wife, tilts her head, and she says, "Where's Rimpak?" And that's where we will end our session for this week. So, thank you everyone who is watching. Thank you players for being so fucking amazing. And whether you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube later, I appreciate your views, appreciate your support, and tune in next time for some more Curse of Strahd.
Can I just say that I respect that man's beard?
Absolutely.